And away we go. Waiting for my event is starting. I hope so. Notice it takes a little bit, but this is Movie Crap Live. I'm going to be talking about the Oscar nominations today. I actually am on time for once in my life, and you can hear me there. And let's see, the Twitter thing went out. Sorry, this is all lo-fi, I guess. But, alright, cool. We are a go to talk about the Oscar nominations 2020. How's everybody doing this afternoon? This is a little different. I'm glad people are here. Hey, Zane Powers is here. I love VHS. I'm so glad you're able to make it. I'm so glad anyone is able to make it. I know this is a different time, but this sort of works out for me. Ryan Walterson, this works out time-wise. So, anyway, to do it now rather than later. But yes, we're going to be talking about the Oscar nominations right now. This is pretty much what this whole show is about, except for the Morbius trailer reaction, which I'll obviously talk about first. So anyway, also a lot of people bring up that it is the 3rd year anniversary of Monster Trucks. I should have put the Blu-ray that Nathaniel Fogel gave me and my Monster Trucks merchandise, and I just realized I should have done that. But yeah. But anyway, it's the 3rd anniversary of Monster Trucks. Someone did a tweet syncing me to a Creech animated thing, and I need to retweet that. It's just been a crazy day with Oscar nominations. Anyway, thank you to Nathaniel Foga, also, who's in the chat, for giving me Monster Truck stuff. It is my fault for not bringing it out when I just realized I should have done that. But you'll see other stuff you gave me in a future video. That's all I'm going to say. Hello, Phantom Vision Productions, and hello, everyone. Okay, so here's basically what we're going to do. I'm just going to lay it all up. Hey! And Saber's here. Everybody, wow, this is fun. Okay, so anyway, here's how streams go. Basically, wait, did Norman the North Fork get announced? St. Powers with the super chat, and Paleo's here. Go away, Saber. I like that. Okay, well, first super chat. Cheers to you. I did not know. I didn't know it was a release date announced. Someone please tell me. I didn't know about this. Thank you for the super chat, St. Powers. But basically, this channel is entirely fan-funded, fan-supported, either through Patreon, and I have a whole bunch of rewards there. You should go check that out. The link is in the description, or through Super Chat. If you cannot support me through either of those ways, that is totally okay. I understand finances are tough for everyone, but it would help this channel keep running, and I very much appreciate it. So we got that out of the way. Northern Northward nominated for Best Animated Feature. Thank you, Toon J723. But basically, yeah, that's how this show works. So I'll just talk about Morbius real quick, because I feel like you don't want to wait for the next Movie Crap episode if I'm already talking now, and then we'll go on to Oscar nominations. I did see the Morbius trailer. It looks bad, which I think everybody... oh, Zane Powers messaged me it? Okay, I will look at it later, Zane. Well, I'm not sure. Is this on the Twitters? I didn't see that, and this is a bad way to start things. Did you? I don't see it on... Wherever you did, I don't see it. Just put it in the chat if you have the release date, Zane Powers. I'm sorry. Anyway, so Morbius... The Morbius trailer looks very 90s, much like Venom did. So I guess that's Sony's thing they do when they make spin-off Spider-Man movies. They make them look very 90s, and that's what they continue to do. That's what they continue to do with Morbius. It looks really bad, and just Jared Leto looks ridiculous. I guess the few things people want to talk about is there was like an actual Spider-Man poster in it, and that Michael Keaton was in it, insinuating that there was going to be a Sinister Six type of thing. I don't know if that signals that or it's just a cameo. I guess it sort of slightly insinuates that. It was ridiculous when he said, "What's up, Doc?" I was like, wow, this is terrible. I can't believe that. So I don't know. It looks pretty bad. It looks how Sony makes these movies. I like that it was really pushing like every Sony produced MCU-ish Spider-Man film. I guess this is a little more in the MCU than previously thought. I don't know if that was worked out in the deal that Marvel worked out, and I'm surprised he could get Keaton back to do kind of a crappy kind of spin-off kind of thing. But yeah, it looks pretty bad. I forget what the release date is because it's been a crazy day. But yeah, we're doing a Morbius movie. It just looks as you'd expect these things to look. I don't understand why anyone would want to go back to 90s comic book movies. It feels like we evolved from it. And it's sort of weird as the Spider-Man movies run counterintuitive to the spin-off villain movies or whatever. But anyway, so now, wait, what? One of the writer duos of Morbius did Iron Man, Transformers 5, and MIB International? Ooh, none of these are good signs. Okay. Alright, so we're going to talk about the Oscar nominations, and there's a whole bunch of stuff with that. So I'll go over the broad strokes here, and then we'll move on to other stuff. First off, anyway, sorry, I didn't see the release date for Morbius. I think it was October, I believe. Isn't it the Venom slot? That would make sense. So anyway, Joker got the most nominations, which was quite a surprise. I would say they probably over-nominated it, especially when you're looking at things like costume design, which is like for the Joker suit. Is that what we did there? Okay. The other ones that got multiple nominations with 10 would be The Irishman, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. A lot of people thought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was going to have the most nominations today. It still got quite a few, but I don't know if that means. I think a lot of people would go, well, it got the most nominations, so it's going to win. That like never works out. I don't know why people have that theory. There's like all sorts of Oscar theories that like don't hold any water, and that's one of them. July 31st is when Morbius comes out. Okay. But yeah, so the those all got 10 nominations. 1917 is number one at the box office, is doing a real late campaigning for the Oscars. It came out, because it won Best Drama at the Golden Globes. It just went wide this weekend. And since the Oscars are actually less than a month away, this is a really short Oscar season this year. I'm surprised it's having this kind of momentum behind it. Now, there was a lot of, and there's surprises like Ford v. Ferrari I didn't think would get as many nominations. Parasite, I thought would get some acting, but 6 nominations for a South Korean film. No film from South Korea has ever been nominated for Best International, which is now Best International Film. It used to be called Best Foreign Film. Little Women getting 6 nominations. I thought it would get completely shut out. Hold on. We have a super chat. To make up misinformation, once the storyboard of Norm of the North came to my school, and when he brought it up, the crowd, it fell in a silent crown. Thank you, Zane Powers. Thank you for the super chat. Cheers to you. I'm sorry for not checking my messages. Again, a bit of a crazy day today, so apologies for that. But yes, a lot of things like Jojo Rabbit. I thought we'd get a lot of nominations. A little surprised by ScarJo, who got 2 nominations this year in 2 acting categories. She's never been nominated before, ever, and suddenly she has 2 nominations. I would have nominated her for Under the Skin. Frankly, I think that's her best performance. There were certain surprises. Before I get to snubs, I guess, let me talk about surprises. The Lighthouse. I didn't think The Lighthouse would get anything, and I really like The Lighthouse because it's not an Oscar movie, and that's unfortunate. As Saber was mentioning, did I think it got snubbed? I personally would probably put. I know it's going. I haven't actually numbered out my top 10. I need to work on that, but it is among the best films I saw last year. But seriously, that it got best cinematography. Almost every review from a major critic went on a whole rant about how beautiful the cinematography, the black and white cinematography was in The Lighthouse, and that never gets nominated or honored. And it feels like the cinematography branch of the Academy went like, yeah, well, guess what, motherfucker? It is good cinematography. And I'm like, we all knew that, so thanks, I guess. But that is actually really cool because I'm like, well, although I thought Willem Dafoe should have been in Best Supporting Actor, I really liked Robert Pattinson. If I was going to do one of the two, I'd do Willem Dafoe, who's playing... everyone says he's playing like the janitor from The Simpsons, but he does an amazing job. I would have liked it to be in there. I would have liked Midsommar to be in there as well, and I think Florence Pugh had an amazing year. got nominated for Little Women. That's a good performance. She had 3. I didn't see Fighting with My Family, but everyone tells me that's very good, and she's very good in it. I thought this was very much a big year for her. Hold on. We have a super chat from Sergio here. It feels like Joker got too many noms to appease Cape SI1 T fans. Not sure. Greta Gerwig should take Philip's spot. The acting categories were great this year. Cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat. I agree about Joker. It was way too nominated. I will actually go through everything and go through how ridiculous it was. And I agree Greta Gerwig should have been nominated. Had she been nominated, and this is a fact that should anger you to a certain degree, had Greta Gerwig been nominated for Best Director, she'd be the first female director to ever be nominated twice in the Best Director category. No woman has ever been nominated twice. Only one female director has ever won, but every female director who's been nominated has only been nominated once in the history of the Oscars. By the way, this is the 92nd year, so that's a thing. But yes, The Lighthouse did get a surprise nomination and a good nomination, and that was good. Other kind of other nominations. Let's see. Man, there's like so many things. I was surprised I Lost My Body got in there, and I'm surprised Klaus did get nominated. I was really surprised by the Best Animated Feature category, and that's probably the category you most want me to talk about. And the thing with both Best Animated Feature is I really thought, because of what was going on with everything in terms of the other awards bodies, that we were going to get this thing where it would be totally major studios. And in a way, that is sort of what happened, because 4 Kids got completely shut out this year, or G Kids or whatever it is. They were not nominated, and they had Weathering for You, which didn't get... They don't push out movies very well, and maybe this will get them to rethink about their Oscar nominations, their nomination campaign, because they really should, because it's really hard to see their stuff, and I think because they made it so difficult, which is why Netflix could come in and get 2 nominations in this category. They've never been nominated before in this category. I didn't do the Klaus thing as like a clickbait thing. I was really actually concerned because the Golden Globes and various other things wouldn't not get nominated, and I really thought that was a huge possibility. But it didn't. It did work out. It didn't not work out. The certain notable things, but it was surprising Frozen 2 wasn't in there. Abominable, I was a little surprised by as well, because that was really pushed. Like, that For Your Consideration campaign was pretty aggressive. We have a super chat from Will here. He said, we got to give shout outs to Lulu Wang and Julia Hart. Got so snubbed for directing noms. I will agree with I like Julia Hart a lot. I thought, I agree, they should have nominated some female directors this year, and they did not. And it wasn't very diverse either, which we'll get into. There's a lot to talk about with the Oscars, but thank you very much, Will, for the super chat. Man, this is going fast. We have another one. Is Joker this year's Bohemian Rhapsody? I don't think Joker's that bad. I don't love Joker, but Bohemian Rhapsody's pretty bad. So I don't want to go out on that limb yet, but yeah, that's an extreme thing, St. Powers. Cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know why this Red Bull thing is a thing, but it is. But anyway, with Best Animated Feature, How to Train Your Dragon 3 I think makes sense because the other 2 had been nominated. Missing Link because they like I think the biggest shock was Frozen 2. But I was concerned. But I think one of the things that we should concern ourselves with what we got with Best Animated, this category, is Netflix has basically taken out anything for smaller animated films to get nominations. Now, they did support I Lost My Body and Klaus, and they did a good job advertising I Lost My Body, specifically in the city. Do I still have to explain to people what I Lost My Body is at parties, and we'll have to continue to do so in the next month? Absolutely. But I Lost My Body is a cool movie. That's the movie you should be seeing, because it sounds like probably most of you, I'm assuming, no offense, have not seen that one. Most people have seen probably the other 4, but not seen that one. You should. It's actually pretty good. I don't think it's the greatest film in the world, but it's interesting. It's about decapitated. It's a hand that's been cut off from its body and is searching the streets of, I think it's somewhere in France, trying to find the body it belongs to, which I thought was cool. Uh, Other thing from Best Animated Feature that is notable, both Dean Deblos and Travis Knight both have 3 nominations, neither have 1, which put them in the group of like all the people who have the most nominations in this category. No one's ever gotten 4, unless Pete Docter gets nominated next year, which he probably will. Alright, so, man, everyone's hitting me with all this stuff. It's like, let's just get to snubs, and this is an interesting one. Hold on. Would an independent animated film category work? Probably not, because this is a Hollywood award show. I think that's probably the one main thing. I think that would work in most other, like if it was the Annies, but I don't think I don't think they would ever do that, to be honest with you. So thank you for the super chat, Zane Powers. Should they do that? They should do that. Will they do that? Probably not. Because they're not. This isn't. To be honest, this is a Hollywood award thing. This is thus why Hollywood studios get most of the nominations. You know, it's not run by film. It's in. It's But Annie Awards, like Paleo is saying in the chat, Annie Awards do have different categories. But I don't think, because they barely, like, the fact that we got an animated feature at all is a miracle. The fact, I don't think we'll get more than that. So thank you for the super chat, Zane Powers. Cheers to you. So the big snubs. I loved Uncut Gems. Sorry, I would have nominated it for best score, for best screenplay, for best acting from Adam Sandler. I sort of don't like, one of the things I don't like about the nominations this year, other than they were not very diverse whatsoever, is the problem with it was that you don't Adam Sandler. Okay, the problem with it is you have 2 people, Adam Sandler and Jennifer Lopez, who are much bigger for sillier, funnier, more mainstream fare. You probably could have gotten more viewers in, as well as I thought they did 2 of the best performances of the year, and they're completely left out to make some point about film artistry, which frankly, based on these nominees, is a little bit of a joke. So I wish they had just maybe considered some of these people, because I really loved Hustlers a lot, and I think it was one of the best movies of the year, and I loved Jennifer Lopez's performance. It is just it is a movie star presence, performance, but you have to be an amazing actor to do it, because I think, and a lot of people have been like, why was she snubbed, is probably because she made so many rom-coms and things like that. But as I said in my review of Hustlers, and as I've said to people for years and years, before, about everything from, I'd say, Selena to The Cell, she really was trying to be a very serious actress, and she did it very well. She was in Out of Sight with Steven Soderbergh. She was in a Bob Rafelson movie. The Cell is not the movie you make if you want to be a cool, successful movie star and stuff. So if she needs to throw down acting, she can do it, and she worked with some serious big directors and so forth. I sort of wanted her to get back to that, because when I rewatched Selena with my wife a couple years ago, it would be 3 years ago now actually, I was like, man, I forgot how good she was. And when Hustlers, I was like, man, I missed her, and I'm really sad about that. And you should see Hustlers. It's a great movie, but it's actually, one of the things about Hustlers I find interesting is it's a better riff on Goodfellas and a Scorsese movie than Joker is, and Joker wears it on its sleeve, and it's a big deal. But to me, it's it took the structure of Goodfellas and made it about strip. It was a lot smarter of a version to me. But I was very disappointed by Jennifer Lopez being nominated. I actually my wife and I are big fans of Hustlers, and I did not want to tell her this morning. I waited a while, and she's like, "What were they like?" J-Lo got nominated. I was like, "No, sorry." The Farewell should have, I think, been nominated. I liked what Awkwafina did, as well as I thought that film as well is very good. Lupita Nyong'o for Us, anything for Us. I don't understand how Us wasn't nominated. They're really not supportive of horror auteurs, and you can tell that from these nominations. It's a bit embarrassing. It's a bit embarrassing what happened and the performance from Lupita Nyong'o is amazing. How could you not do that? I don't understand. With that, why is everyone saying R.I.P. to Hawkeye? Did something happen? I hope nothing happened. Anyway, but I would have liked Us to be nominated, but it's sort of more of a film in a horror auteur's filmography and less of an Oscar thing. And because the Oscars are lame, they didn't nominate it. But I thought it was a really great movie. Everyone keeps saying Beyonce was snubbed. I did not like that song, and I feel like people are just because it made the shortlist. Why wasn't it? And I just don't really get that. Frozen 2, I think, was shocking for people, but it did get in Best Song, and Weathering for You as well. But anyway, I think that, okay, let's just, Oh, the other thing is Joker, more like Noker. Nice, Sergio. Cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat. All right. I'm just going to go through stuff. And basically, the way today's going to go is I'm going to probably... We'll see how far we go. I think we might just end this at 5 just because I have to pick up my daughter. So there's that. All right. So did I get everybody? Let's go through Best Picture. And there's some interesting things. We'll go through Best Picture and then sort of go through everything and all that stuff. So the interesting things about Best Picture, 2 producers got 2 nominations. Emma Tiller-Kaskioff, whatever, was nominated for The Irishman and for Joker. She is Scorsese's producing partner, so that's why Scorsese was close to doing Joker because of that, as well as David Heyman, who you probably know from producing all the Harry Potter movies, and Gravity was his previous nomination. He was nominated twice for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and for Marriage Story. He's a really good producer. He works with a lot of auteurs now. Since doing Harry Potter, he's kind of switched it up, but he was mainly a Harry Potter guy before that ended. Another thing with Best Picture, and no one's brought it up, but I thought I would just talk about this thing that everybody seems to talk about. So, Endgame. Endgame, I think everyone gave up on that a long time ago with Best Picture. But here's the thing with the Endgame theory. It was like, hey, well, Return of the King got nominated. Why didn't, for achieving this massive thing, why didn't Endgame? That theory should work, and if it was me, I probably would have said, let's put Endgame in there, because I think it was kind of the most 2020 movie. It's the most best example of modern Hollywood. It was really good. Audiences love it. Everything like that. Joker, more like Riddler. Nice one, Paleo. I like Bloker also. Joker, more like cinema. You guys, I like when these jokes get going. But Endgame, I think, should have been. But the difference between Lord of the Rings and, I think, remember when the last Harry Potter was coming out, and everyone has this theory that, like, much like Return of the King, this will happen for this other movie. Return of the King was different because all of those previous Lord of the Rings films got nominated. These other ones don't have that. It's just not the same thing. And since only one MCU movie's been nominated, I don't see that happening again. Maybe Black Panther 2, because Ryan Coogler is pretty well regarded in those circles, but I just don't see that happening. Do I think Kevin Feige should get like a Best Producer award for being probably the producer of this era? Yes, he should get a Thalberg at some point. He definitely should. But I just don't. The way the Academy works, it wasn't going to happen. So I know anyone who tells you that theory, like this is the last one, so it was going to win, just like tell them to chill, because unless it's like, same with like the whole idea of the whole, yeah, it just doesn't work anyway. Or the whole idea with Rise of Skywalker maybe getting nominated. I noticed nobody's going to talk about that one. Look, I'm not saying they're the same movie. Sarah's getting upset that I compared Return of the King with Endgame. I'm not comparing them in terms of quality. I'm just saying the theory, okay? Because clearly, I don't know. There's clearly Norm of the North 3 is better than both of them. So, like, why wasn't that nominated? Anyway, what's going on in the chat is very funny. Sometimes I should just sit here and react to the chat and not talk, maybe. Anyway, so Best Picture, the big surprises, I think expected were like The Irishman, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, which was... I'm surprised it was so expected, because a South Korean film never been nominated for Best Foreign Film. And foreign films don't have that good of luck, but especially since the Academy changed up membership, which they talked about diversity, but what happened with the diversity thing is they got more international things. So like Cold War last year getting a Best Director, things like that, which is good, because one of the things I like about the Oscars is when they nominate smaller movies, so then you see that list and you go, what's this? And then you go see it. I think that's a good thing the Academy does. So Parasite is probably, I think, the lowest grossing on here, if I'm correct. And hopefully that'll get people to see a foreign film they wouldn't normally. So I think that's very good. Ford v Ferrari I was a little surprised by. One of the things about Ford v Ferrari, I was very actually moved by it. I was surprised because when I started, I was catching up on Oscar movies that day, and I was like, man, there's like a lot of white guys in these movies. Like, this is getting boring. But I did think Ford v Ferrari is a really good kind of studio film, one we don't get anymore. So I think that was really good. I was surprised by Little Women. Amy Pascal, who is the former disgraced Sony executive, is nominated for that. Joker, more like Joanna Man. Nice one, Austin. Yeah, Little Women, that was a bit of a surprise. It got embraced so much. You would think Best Director would have been good. And 1917, again, I think is going to be building up a lot of love. Jojo Rabbit got a lot in there. Oh, Taika Waititi, by the way, this is yeah, I know Marley brings up that Ford v Ferrari is a very good dad movie. I have not edited my review for that. I have shot it, but I like it for very dad reasons, I will say. Like, I felt very much like a dad watching it, and I liked it. The whole reason you like it are for dad reasons, but it was very moving in some cases. I don't know if it's my favorite movie of the year. I don't know if I would make my top 10, but I did cry, so... But I think I overcry probably at movies. I cried at Norman of the North 3, so, you know. Anyway, sorry. I think that, yeah. And Joker got a ton of stuff. Bradley Cooper, I think everyone forgot he produced Joker, and he did. And he was nominated for that, so that's another nomination for Bradley Cooper. Him and Todd Phillips seem to go together really well, apparently. I guess they're friends. I think they have like a production deal at Warner or something like that. So, Best Director, Bong Joon-ho got nominated for Parasite. And Todd Phillips for Joker. Their first-time nominees in this category. Todd Phillips, still the Hangover guy, but, you know, he's an Oscar nomination. Same with Bong Joon-ho. Well-deserved. I kind of... If it was me, I would give it to Bong Joon-ho, by the way. Martin Scorsese is now the most nominated living director. The most nominated director has 11 nominations, was William Wyler. Martin Scorsese is second of all time. First in living directors, unless William Wyler is hiding on a beach somewhere or something. But conspiracy theory, I don't know. Somebody tweet that maybe. But don't actually do that and don't at me. But Martin Scorsese, 9th nomination for The Irishman. Quentin Tarantino, this is his 3rd. I'd say actually he's favored to win right now. I'm not doing predictions right now because I should say one of the main reasons I don't do predictions is because a lot can change. In the 2000s, the year that A Beautiful Mind was nominated for Best Actor from Russell Crowe, and Denzel Washington was nominated for Training Day. Russell Crowe was the favorite. He was definitely the favorite, and then he gave this ridiculous speech at the BAFTAs and then fought a producer, and his profile went way down. So things can change over the course of voting, so that's why I do not do predictions, because the context will change pretty rapidly. Joker, more like Ryan Welcherson. Nice one, St. Paris. Sam Mendes, this is his first nomination since American Beauty, which kind of surprised me. I forgot he hadn't been nominated in that while. Skyfall and Road to Perdition, I'm a little surprised by that. But I think his movies are often better shot than they are directed because he lets the cinematographer do whatever they want. 1917, by the way. Oh, so I wanted to say with the Best Picture nominees, I have seen all but 1917 right now. I need to edit my reviews of Little Women, Ford v Ferrari, Irishman. What was the other one? Oh, Marriage Story. I need to do that, but I haven't done that yet. Kind of focusing all sorts of things, but I believe they'll be done before the Oscars come out. But yeah, the only one I haven't seen is 1917. When I have seen them, I want to do a ranking of which ones are the best, but it's probably just going to be Parasite because that movie's great. Is my number one right now. I love Parasite. All right, so let's go into Best Actor. Joaquin Phoenix, I think, is the odds-on to win right now. I think that nomination and the embrace of it is more because he has done some great work over the course of the 2010s, from The Master, from Her to You Were Never Really Here. He's an actor's actor, and he's always been doing great work. And I think that kind of helps him a lot in this, because the fact that he hasn't won before. How did Casey Affleck win before? I just don't. Whatever. DiCaprio, this is the first time he's really been on screen since The Revenant, and some of that love will help him. Adam Driver, it's his first in lead, which he deserves. It's also first-time nominations for Jonathan Pryce, which is surprising. You would have think he'd been nominated before. And Antonio Banderas. I've noticed, as everyone's saying, this time we just barely avoided Oscar So White this year, and I agree with that. But everyone's bringing up Cynthia Erivo and not bring up Antonio Banderas, who not a white person. Anyway, but Antonio, I just actually recently learned the plot of Pain and Glory, and that movie sounds really cool, and I wish I had seen it and known the actual plot of it. I just heard it was an Almodovar movie, which is enough of an advertisement most of the time. But he apparently is basically playing Almodovar and his relationship with his main star, who's usually Antonio Banderas, which is interesting. But Banderas is playing Almodovar, and his main star and him had a falling out, basically because of the star's drug use, and Penelope Cruz is in it, and all this stuff. Sounds interesting. I am actually... are people still doing Joker puns? What's going on? In that... Also, before I get to Best Actress... Sorry, I have a nose. Best Picture... one of the things with Best Picture this year, which I really liked, is Parasite is the lowest grossing one, but the rest are bigger movies. You can't really tell what Irishman and Marriage Story made, but you can access them easily with Netflix, and supposedly they've been watched a lot. But the other ones, such as like Ford v Ferrari is $100 million, Joker's $100 million, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is 1917. We'll get there. Little Women, I don't know is there yet, but it's close. Maybe Jojo Rabbit is the lower grossing one, but these are more well seen. They're not the highest grossing films of the year, but this might be one of the more watched Oscars because of that, and it's better for the industry if they pick movies that people actually know what the fuck they're talking about. All right, so Best Actress. Renee Zellweger is kind of the favorite right now, but we'll see how that goes. She's won Best Supporting, but not Best Actress. Charlize getting nominated again. Bombshell. Oh, by the way, Bombshell's the movie that I refuse to see. Every year I pick. I'm obviously movie obsessed, but every year I pick an Oscar movie I just won't see because I can't. At a certain point, these Oscar movies get a little too much because it's all like white people historical stuff, and even I get bored with that. So I just always pick one, and I was like, Bombshell. I just don't care about cable news. It is nothing about that. It's Fox News. It could be MSNBC. I just can't do that. Not doing that. So I'm not seeing Bombshell. I'm sure Charlize is great. I love Charlize Theron. Young Adult was one of the best performances of the decade, if you ask me. And is a great movie. Young Adult's underrated. Anyway, Saoirse Ronan getting her 4th nomination. I saw she's one of the youngest to get 4 nominations of all time, or the second youngest. Scarlett Johansson getting 2 acting nominations and never being nominated before. The bigger one is Cynthia Erivo, who also got a nomination in Best Song, and if she wins, she will have the EGOT. She's already won an Emmy, a Grammy, and a Tony. She got nominated for Harriet, which was a bit of a surprise. I didn't think she would get in there. To be honest, I thought that both the lead categories would just have a bunch of white people, but they skirted by on that one apparently, which was surprising. The other, sorry if I hope this isn't too boring. So Best Supporting Actor. All of these guys have been nominated before, and only one hasn't won, and that's Brad Pitt. Everyone else hasn't been nominated in a long time. Tom Hanks hasn't been nominated since Castaway, for real. Which is a shame because I feel like they really, even though Tom Hanks won 2 Best Actors back to back in the 90s from Philadelphia and Forrest Gump, and like only Spencer Tracy has done that, and that is a crazy thing to have done. That's like an all-time type of thing. He like hasn't won since or barely been nominated, and it's almost like they kind of feel like they overdid it, but I'm like, dude, it's Tom Hanks. Like, why are we under-nominating Tom Hanks? Like, I don't understand that. So anyway, he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I think it might be his first in that category, and of course I didn't look that up for some reason. Anthony Hopkins, Two Popes got more nominations than we all thought. Maybe I'll check that on Netflix, but I kind of still want to see Dolomite, so I'm more of a Dolomite person than a Two Popes person, right? I think that's how I think of myself, at least. Al Pacino and Joe Pesci getting nominated for the first time in forever, and then Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt looks like he's the favorite, and we'll see about what's going on with that. He's the one who's campaigning the most. I know. Also, the thing about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Sony really has something to prove with this film. So they're going to campaign like the Weinsteins used to campaign for Tarantino. That's not a gross joke. That's literally what they got a lot of people Oscars. Wasn't he the most thanked after God is Harvey Weinstein? That's creepy. God, that guy sucked. All right. And all his movies were terrible too. Anyway. So Best Supporting Actress, this is the one that upset me the most because J-Lo wasn't in there, and as they listed off the names and I saw Kathy Bates, my heart immediately dropped, and I went, no. I don't actually like Laura Dern that much in Marriage Story. I think she's good. I don't feel like it's that amazing of a performance to be embraced so much. I did actually like ScarJo more in Jojo Rabbit than Marriage Story, so that is a thing. Margot Robbie... I'm glad it wasn't Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that she was nominated. And Florence Pugh, you know what? It was a great year for her. So it was a great year for her. So I'm happy that she got a nomination this year. I would have done Midsommar. I think she deserved to be in Best Actress. That's a great performance. But it's a horror movie, and they have a limited understanding of the art of cinema from the award show that was created to show people that cinema is an art. So figure that one out. That's true. That's all true. Did you also know that? It's going to be in a later Lost Film File, but it isn't pertain to this. But did you know that the original Best Actor, when they actually voted Rin Tin Tin, the dog, was the original first Best Actor winner, but they thought that would devalue what they were trying to do in terms of showing cinema as an art form, so they gave it to Amal Jannings and not Rin Tin Tin. I always find that to be hilarious. I wish they'd just given it to a dog, because they're like, is any man in Hollywood better than a dog? Not really. Let's just give it to a fucking dog. All right, so Best Original Screenplay. I think Knives Out was a bit of a surprise. It did feel like it might even get into Best Picture, but they decided not to do that. How many Best Pictures were there this year? There were... they did the 8. I wish they did 10. It's like, come on. What the fuck's your problem? I don't understand that. But Best Original Screenplay, Rian Johnson was a bit of a surprise. But good for him. I really love Rian Johnson, and I'm glad he has an Oscar nomination. Hey, did you know he has one more Oscar nomination than J.J. Abrams? Just saying. Noah Baumbach also got nominated again in the screenplay category. He was previously nominated for Squid and the Whale. 1917. Sam Mendes, I think this is his first nomination because he was not nominated for American Beauty. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for Quentin Tarantino, and then Parasite for Bong Joon-ho. If I was going to guess who they would give it to, it would be Quentin Tarantino. If Quentin Tarantino wins, this is a fun fact, I guess, he would tie with the person who's won the most screenplay Oscars with 3, which would be Woody Allen. I think it might be in their best interest to do that, and I think if they're going to give it to him for anything, it would be for this. Tarantino previously won for... What? Didn't he win for... Oh, damn it. Of course, now when I'm doing this, I forget. I know he won for Pulp Fiction. Is it that? And now everybody's going to find it in the chat before I find it, but whatever. I know he's won 2. Wasn't it for Django? Did he not win for Bastards? Or does he already have 3? That would be interesting if he had. This. Now the show comes to a screeching halt. He didn't win for Bastards. I would have given it to him for Bastards over... I can't remember all this nonsense every year. It's just like, what the... Why did he not win for Bastards? I don't understand that. But anyway, Best Original Screenplay. Best Original Screenplay, yeah. Parasite was kind of a surprise as well. I think that's a fine category. I probably would have gone... Parasite, I would have put in there. I also, anyway, Best Adapted, Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, which is like, I don't get with comic book stuff, because it's like, yeah, I guess it's adapted, but when I think of adapted, you're adapting it from a book, but I guess you are sort of adapting it. Two Popes got in there. Apparently it's based on a play. Didn't know that. To me, honestly, with adapted, I think Greta Gerwig did the best with Little Women. I think that was a really good adaptation. I think it calls to mind how good of an adaptation it is. We'll see what's going on with that. Sergio says Brad Pitt never winning an Oscar is a bigger crime than Leo not winning for a long time. Also, doggies should have a goodest boy category. So actually, Brad Pitt has an Oscar. He won for producing 12 Years a Slave. So that, but he has not won for acting. He's been nominated before. Cheers! Thank you very much for the super chat, man. That was very nice of you. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, so Best International Film, which used to be called Best Foreign Film, but now is called Best International Film for some reason, has a couple... interesting things is first, Parasite is the first South Korean film ever nominated in that category. There's a film called Corpus Christi, which is from Poland. Is there a Corpus Christi in Poland? I don't know. Les Miserables, which I guess is a new version of that. Pain and Glory from Almodovar. But Honeyland... there's this film Honeyland, and it's made history by being the only film nominated for Best International Feature Film and then Best Documentary. So that's history there. I think that might help it in Best Documentary because people will go, let's let it win there, and since International is definitely going to go to Parasite. But it's interesting, you don't have this many nominees other than Les Miserables and Corpus Christi, everything else is nominated in a different category, which shows what people have been saying about the Academy is they've gone a lot more international, which you can see that with Best International Feature. So even though they're not so good at diversity in terms of actors, they have diversified in terms of foreign film. Not a tremendous amount, but more than they previously would have. So, but it is interesting. I kind of want to see Honeyland. It's about a beekeeper in China, I believe, and how they feel like she feels like keeping the bees gives her inner peace and stuff. Sounds cool. I don't think it's on a streaming service right now. So the other kind of animated category, well, yeah, I probably should have just gone to Best Documentary, but how do you guys care about documentary that much? I don't know. No offense. Best animated short. One of the things I was really hoping would get in is Hair Love. I love that movie a lot. That short, it's made me cry. I had a really big emotional reaction to that when I saw it in theaters. I think it was like almost hard to enjoy Angry Birds 2 for a couple minutes, which I believe Animat said a similar thing. I know Kit Bull is on Disney Plus. I'm thinking of having a review of that on my next Movie Crap regular episode. But I am curious to watch that, as well as Memorable, Sister, which I think Sister was not. There's another film called Sister in live action called A Sister, and there's another film called Sister, an animated short. Interesting. I would like to see those. I never really get to see all the animated shorts, but if I could see them online, maybe I respect that the Academy plays them in theaters, but it's just like I can't get to everything, and if they were online, I feel like shorts work better online anyway. I wish they would. I've complained about this every year, but they should have like a YouTube playlist where it's like, here they all are, and then during the show they should say, if you want to see the best shorts or animated shorts or Sister, nice Austin, best live action documentary or animated shorts, you can go on youtube.com/the Oscars and watch them all right now, and it would turn people on to animated shorts and short films in general. But Smash, okay, they were, but anyway, those films, so yeah, I'm curious to see those. Kit Bull is it Pixar? Is it Pixar? So Pixar got 3 nominations, right? It's Pixar Spark Shorts. But I believe this was one made actually by Pixar. Pixar actually has a cool thing where if you work there, you can make a short with their facilities. You just have to do it off hours. But they will basically let you make a short there using their facilities and their workers and stuff like that for free, and they'll actually campaign for it for Oscars, but it still counts for animated short, but you get to make your own short film. I don't think Kit Bull was one of them, but I will try to check out Kit Bull. I'm interested in it. I don't really know live action documentary shorts at all, but a thing called St. Louis Superman sounds interesting to me. Okay, best original score. I gotta say, what the fuck, Joker? Really? I just don't get it. John Williams got his 52nd Oscar nomination, beating his own record. That is an insane amount of. He's John Williams. I feel like they just nominated him because he does do a good score, regardless of the quality of the Star Wars film. I was a little surprised because I've heard the theory that how well received the Star Wars film is depends on the Oscar nominations. But I noticed Rise of Skywalker still got quite a few. I don't know if it's like less nominated than the other Star Wars films. I didn't look that up, but yeah. No, I know Spark Shorts, by the way. I know Spark Shorts are still Pixar, but I was saying because they have that program. I was bringing that up. Anyway, but Marriage Story, which is by Randy Newman, was good. Little Women was good. None of these were like blew me away. I didn't see 1917. I would have done Uncut Gems. Scores like that like when I leave, I'm going to listen to on my phone immediately. Uncut Gems for me was a great score. I would say I like the Endgame score probably more than the Rise of Skywalker score. There's probably other scores I'm forgetting, but like this is sort of a lesser category for me. It's like a lot of people who've been nominated a lot of times before. It's kind of like, okay, cool, whatever. Best song. This is where Frozen did get nominated, and Rocketman got its only nomination. So we basically got Toy Story 4 with Randy Newman getting nominated twice this year, which I just noticed. Elton John and Bernie Taupin getting nominated for Rocketman. And I think Into the Unknown from Frozen 2 getting nominated. which is Frozen 2's only nomination, which was a bit of a surprise. I like Randy Newman a lot. I just didn't like these songs. I'm actually a big Randy Newman fan, so it just wasn't my favorite. Stand Up from Harriet, which Cynthia Erivo helped write and do the music for, which is cool that she got 2 nominations. I really liked her in Widows. See Widows. People slept on Widows. Widows is a great movie. I love her in that. But yeah, I'm Standing With You from some Christian movie by Dionne Warren. I don't know who sang that because I didn't. Is Breakthrough the thing where the kid breaks through the ice? It is. Oh my god. That's weird. Why is it? That's really the title because he broke through the ice. This is me reacting to realizing the movie Breakthrough is about a kid who breaks through ice. I never heard that song. Was it like someone sings in it or something? I just don't. It's not even on the Wikipedia page for. I just don't. What the. Anyway, I love it when they nominate these things that you're like, man, so the film where the kid falls through the ice was nominated? I don't. I don't know, guys. Sure, Oscars. All right, so of the technical categories, some of them I don't really have that much to say about. I don't think Joker wasn't in production design. It was in makeup. Okay, I don't know, guys, but sure, makeup and hairstyling. I was a little surprised like Joker got in there, as well as costume design. As well as cinematography. I wouldn't have put him in that. Cinematography, obviously The Lighthouse. I just talked about how great it was that got a nomination. Roger Deakins, from what I've seen from 1917, he's almost the star of it. I would expect him to win, except for he lost so many times. I kind of think he'll lose. But Robert Richardson, I don't know. These films, I've seen all but 1917. But just from knowing the Oscars and stuff, I feel like the 2 that are really outstanding in terms of cinematography are 1917 and The Lighthouse. Everything else is sort of like, sure. I don't know if like, man, maybe we don't consider the same movies. Me and the Oscars. Best film editing. So there's a thing with best film editing that people don't talk about, is people say that if there were 5 nominees still, that these 5 in best film editing would be it. That's the theory. Because that would often be the case, or like one film would sneak in there for best film editing that wasn't nominated for best picture when they used to do the 5 nominees for best picture. So if under that theory, Ford v Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and Parasite would be the best pictures under, if that's still what's going on. Zane Powers said, did Joker have better costuming than Suicide Squad? That's a thinker. I don't know Zane Powers, but I will say that I think Suicide Squad won for best makeup. But did it have best... I don't know if it had better... Well, he did have that nice Joker face, so I don't know. I mean, I don't... I love that we have to have these debates. Thank you, DC EU. And finally, best visual effects. Thank you for the super chat, Zane Powers, and thank you for being here and everything. Sorry I didn't know about the Norm of the North thing. Apologies again, I feel bad about that. Best visual effects, we got Avengers Endgame, which is expected, The Lion King, Star Wars, sure, 1917, I guess, and The Irishman, which a deep fake just made look really stupid. Yep. One of the ones that was kind of campaigning for the Oscars a little bit was Primal. Apparently, and I learned this from Twitter, the Primal theater cut didn't have the last chapter, which to me was like the craziest part. I don't think Primal was going to get in there, but I really wish it had, because I think Primal's probably my favorite animated film of the year. So I'm not even sure how to feel about. To me, like, that series was maybe one of the best cinematic experiences this year. So I really like Primal a lot. I'm just surprised by that. I wish it had been nominated, but I don't think it was going to. Did I talk about Taika Waititi? I don't know if I brought this up, but he was nominated for a short before this called Two Cars, One Night. So this is actually his second and third nominations. He was nominated a long time ago for a short. But overall, I wasn't too. I was a little surprised by this Oscar year. I don't think it signals like great things. I feel like it's sort of a mixed bag, like the Oscars often are. They don't seem to want to completely shit the bed like they used to. They should have, not been a little more diverse. I think nominated like all dude directors thing, it doesn't really, it's not a good look. But I sort of agree. Some people said it devalues the category to have more nominees. I mean, I guess, but we live in such an auteur film society that it's like having 5 kind of counterintuitive to that, and we have a lot of acting categories. I just feel like just open it up to however many Best Pictures should be how many directors. I'm not saying everyone who gets nominated for Best Picture should get a Best Director. I like it when you mix and match people, but I feel like that should change. I don't know. This was not the greatest year. I would say is some interesting things happen. Pixar. Oh yeah. By the way, Pixar's studio now has 13 Best Animated Feature nominations, and DreamWorks actually has 12. And Disney would have tied with it, but now DreamWorks is second with most nominations for a studio. Do I have anything else in here before I just take some questions? I think that's everything. Oh, movies I need to see: Pain and Glory in 1917, and then I wrote Bombshell No with a lot of O's because I really don't want to see that. But I really did like Little Women. I'm a little surprised and didn't get more nominations. Oh, hey, what's up, Ramsan Film or Ramiro? How are you doing? I don't know. The Joker thing is disappointing. I tweeted out earlier that Martin Scorsese actually didn't get nominated for Best Director for Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, and this got 11 nominations, which is more than both those films got, as King of Comedy got, I believe, no nominations, and Taxi Driver just got like 4 or something like that. So that's a bit ridiculous. I'm not in love with these. I don't think the Best Picture nominees, as I've seen most of them, there's not one that's like totally awful. I'm not the biggest Joker fan. But I do feel like there were too many white people in this award show, and it should have been more diverse in terms of, I don't think anyone looks at film the way the Oscars do anymore. And that's the bigger problem with this award show is like, you're supposed to be showing Oscars, you're supposed to be showing movies as an art form, and you're not doing that. That's not how people view film as an art form in 2020. And that's the biggest problem with these, is like, you are not doing your proper job of what you set out to do 92 years ago, or 90 or whatever. It's sort of a shame, and they really need to change this up and do something more interesting, because this is just, to me, it signals not just a problem in terms of racial diversity and background diversity, but the diversity of ideas in this academy is just incredibly disappointing. Anyway, does anyone have some questions? Let's just do like 10 minutes of questions, and then I should pick up pick up my daughter and do other things. But does anyone have, let's answer some questions, and then we can we need an out of context Jim Twitter. Oh no, I don't want that. I have enough issues. But if anyone has some questions, we can answer those, and then we'll go and all that stuff. Does anyone have questions? I guess in the chat, feel free. I guess put question there. It almost sounds like the Oscars are run by a bunch of old people. I like that. I like the question. Can I pay you to see Bombshell? I guess if you really want to put in the Patreon review vote, or really put me through. When's Juana Man? I want to do it soon in the next couple months. I really do want to do Juana Pan. Jacob Shelter, tell me again the story why you became a reverend. Basically, it was me and a friend were kind of just being stupid one day, and we found out you could do it, and we both made each other reverends in his basement. And then when we tried to make his dog reverend, his mom got mad at us. And then I made the school basically said I wanted to write on my papers in high school the Reverend Jim Gisriel, and they said you can't do that unless you have proof. And I came in with my official document, and they like looked down and go, well, I guess we have to let you do that. And so all throughout high school on my papers it said the Reverend Jim Gisriel, and anytime a teacher got mad, I said, well, talk to the main office, I've cleared it with them, and they would have to do that. That is a real thing. that happened. Anyway, do I think Sandler was snubbed? Yes, I do, but I think he was really good. I don't think they were going to nominate him because they're jerks, but I do think he was snubbed. Question from that was from Ransom Film. This is from I Love VHS. Do you think Creed should host the Oscars this year? I think Creed should host the Oscars every year, frankly. I also think Billy Crystal should just do the Oscars every year if you ask me. Zane Powers, have you ever watched the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? I did a long time ago. I was never that big into it, but I watched it a little bit. From Paleo Steno, how's it going, Paleo? Why did Lego Movie 2 get snubbed? I'm still mad about Lego Movie 1 and Lego Batman. I don't think Lego Movie 2 had the reception to do that, but I did hear a bit of a talk of maybe getting it in because they failed to nominate any of the Lego movies, and now that Warner's is not doing that with them, that also might have hurt it, as Warner's probably didn't want to campaign for it because they don't have any Lego movies, so it's probably an awkward corporate situation. But I think the Lego movies as a whole, I think the Academy kind of regrets not nominating those two, and that's actually why the nominating for animated films changed, as it wasn't just for the animation community, it's for everyone who's seen all the shortlist films, and they broke it out from just that so they could nominate more bigger movies, which is actually why I was afraid that we would only get major studio animated films, which could have been really bad. I'm glad they didn't do that. Nathaniel spells. Nice one, Austin. Which they made a cameo on Infinity Train Volume 2 or Book 2. I'm still working on that review. It was kind of hard to watch that and get ready for this and stuff, but I will have a review of that. So I'll get to that at the end. Worst movie to get a Best Picture from Nathaniel Fogo. This year, I don't know. Nothing's really that bad this year. Green Book was pretty bad. Blind Side. Everyone says that Circus one, The Greatest Show on Earth, is pretty bad. I don't know what the worst nominated one was, but those are some of the worst ones, I'd say. Do you think they'll bring back those animated skits like how Cartoon present some nominations and such? They might do that this year. I don't really see that happening, and I sort of think they're dumb, but I don't really like them anyway. Ransom Film, yes, I do. Oh, I answered that already. From Saber Sparks, why did Netflix make a movie about my parents that starred Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson? I noticed they kept referring to him as Saber Sparks the whole movie. It was really weird. And then he would say things like, "What ruined Halloween? My parents' divorce." It was interesting. When's The Blind Side? I don't. Hold on. Where'd we go? When's The Blind Side? It's always. When do you think you'll be looking at my Google Slides? Don't understand that question. Explain that one. Major Mekazawa, did you know Ralph Bakshi tried to adapt Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas for years before Terry Gilliam got the job? I did know that, and I wish his adaptation had happened, because whether it had been good or not, I don't know whether it would be. It would have been interesting. Zane Powers, what's your biggest regret in your life? A lot of things. I don't know. Question. How do I get my local movie place to play interesting films? I live in a small town and we didn't get Jojo Rabbit, let alone Parasite. I would say maybe make a petition, maybe show that there is the interest there. I don't know this theater. If it's a chain, they have like no choice. If it is an independent theater, maybe contact them and just be proactive, but tell them, do it. Don't do it from a place of like, why are you so dumb or something. Do it from a place like, I love this theater. I would really like these things to happen and things like that. I would do it from that way. Thoughts on the movies North, Odd Life of Timothy Green, and Click? I actually really like Click. I don't remember North. I saw it back in the 90s, and I didn't see The Odd Life of Timothy Green. But I actually really like Click. I think it's one of the better Adam Sandler movies. Should Lucas Till host the Oscars? No, because he should just co-host it with Creech. That should never happen. Do you think when you appeared on the Pizza Party podcast for the first time that you would become a regular member? I really didn't, and that kind of just happened by accident because I was there. Even me becoming a regular member, because I think Pan said, if you ever want to come back, and I think I literally said, I can't do it next time, but I could do it 2 times from now, and I think I sort of just inserted myself into it, and then I just became friends with everyone. So it's kind of weird. Now when I look at it, I was like, I should have maybe been, if I hadn't just thought that I could just, he was so welcoming when he said it, I probably wouldn't have tried to be on it more and more. But I had such I kind of enjoyed being on podcasts and like promoting myself, but as well as like I had like people to talk about animated stuff with, which I didn't. So I think that sort of I didn't think it would be that way. It just sort of happened. And sometimes when I think about how it happened, I'm like, how did that just happen? It's so weird. It's really not like, it wasn't like Pan didn't go, do you want to be a regular? I like sort of became one, and then I was one, and it's a boring question. Question, I liked your opinion on diversity. Which diverse film actors, directors would you have included? Well, first off, Primal. Second off, more horror, like Us and Midsommar. I haven't really done my top 10, so there's probably stuff I would have left out. But I would have probably put a lot more horror in. I would have tried to have blockbusters in there. I would have had Endgame have a little more representation just because of how big of a deal it was. I don't necessarily think it might even not make my top 10, but I still think it's a very good movie. Things like that, just like, I like what they're doing with foreign film, but I still think it should diversify in terms of that. I do think Greta Gerwig, that was a really good directorial film, and The Farewell I would have put more in there as well. I'm sort of just spitballing, but yeah, I would have done with that. High Flying Bird, which I just reviewed, and I didn't mention on the last stream, that I would have been given a best screenplay. I think that's on Netflix. That's a really great movie, all shot on an iPhone by Steven Soderbergh. I really like High Flying Bird, so that would have been one I would have given a lot more to. Will you be watching the Annies next week? Does that happen during movie crap? Maybe not. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. I usually don't, but I potentially might. I will think about that, Ryan Walterson. I know last year I think you were trying to get me to watch it, and I was doing something, so it'll depend on the weekend, but I will look into it, at least. I will look into it. Question, I gave in to your demands. Now, when are you going to release my turtle? I don't remember this. Next week, probably. Is the MCU going through in an era in need of quality and control, with Morbius tying in now and Doctor Strange director leaving? Is this a sign of some greater issues from Bruce Parker? I don't think the MCU is going to fall apart, and I don't think too much is going to change. But I think with the Morbius stuff is sort of not MCU. Maybe that was a deal they worked out to like tangentially be related to it. I do think they're going to have to cross over with more and more things. But what they'll probably learn, and what actually happened with kind of their crossovers, is at first they have like Infinity Gauntlet or Secret Wars, and then just do a few books, and then they do way too many books to cross over with, and it became too overwhelming and the popularity dipped. I could see that happening, but I think one thing that works best about the MCU as movies is that you could like not see Doctor Strange but still be hyped for Black Panther 2 or whichever, so, or Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or things like that. So I think it might dip in terms of the other franchises, but I also think like we're not going to have a blockbuster year like last year for a couple of years, and I do think the way they're doing it and diversifying the things in terms of like just different kinds of movies, as well as doing diversity with Shang-Chi and things like that, I do think I don't think they're in as much trouble as people think they're going to. Anyway, Grunge Sickness said, I'm gonna make a Little Mermaid movie a bit, but put in the 90s, make her a Riot Girl. What do you think, Jim? I that would be cool. I don't think there's enough stuff about Riot Girls in the 90s stuff. There should be more. Question, if a tree falls in the woods and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? No. I don't know. You have to think about that one, man. Burger Sermon. I didn't see this super chat. Thank you for the super chat. A little salty about the Farewell being snubbed. I guess I am. Sorry about that. Saber Sparks. I like this, Jim. You talking about being an ordained minister got me curious, so I literally just applied online, so now I'm a minister too. By the way, I can marry people in New York State legally. So if you're in New York State, I can legally get you married. Has Zane Powers man, I'll do a few more, and then maybe that's, I don't know. Zane Powers, has Disney Plus improved at all in your eyes, or where do you think it's heading? I think it actually has not. I think it needs better organization. The Simpsons need its own tab. It needs to be a lot clearer on what's leaving and what's going to stay for a limited time. It needs a lot more clarity. Streaming services how come YouTube channels are better organized on their front page than streaming services that have billions of dollars is fucking ridiculous. Like, that shouldn't be going on. They need better organization. Like, seriously, give a YouTuber Disney Plus and say, how do you organize it? And they would do a much better job. And I'm, like, completely serious. And that's embarrassing. Like, organize that shit. Ryan Welcherson, is this real life? Is this going to be forever? That was funny, Ryan. I feel like I did. I hope I did. Sweet Potato Fries question. An animated series about Jim, maybe even a slice of life anime. I think that would be cool. Zane Powers question. How do I talk to girls? I would just say use some confidence and be nice and gracious and be like a normal person. That works. MJ Bull question. How has the world improved since Green Book cured racism? It's improved so much. I couldn't even count all the ways it's helped the world. And I mean, look, I don't think we'd even get Endgame unless we had Green Book or Frozen 2 or the Lion King remake or Momocon, anything. None of it would happen without Green Book. Question. The best and worst animated films. Oh, nominated? The worst... I don't know. What did they nominate Shrek 2 or something? Maybe that. I'm not sure. Sorry. Best. I really like Inside Out. I'd say The Illusionist. Something like that. Zane Powers, when do you usually see your Vietnam flashbacks? Around 5:30, so I should finish this soon. Do you think Parasite getting a Best Picture nomination will help in increasing the foreign market in America? I think it will, actually. I think it could help, but we'll see. Question, Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse? Bugs Bunny, Jordan Bushard. Zane Powers, if he invited you to be a writer on whatever his next project is, would you take it? I think we'll work together at some point. It hasn't come together, but if it happened, I would definitely do it. I love VHS. Question, hypothetically, how would you feel about a DreamWorks cinematic universe? Obviously, tongue-in-cheek crossover stuff. I would not like that. That sounds horrible. I don't want that at all. Question, favorite out-of-context pizza party moment? I would say Shrek Hipster. I actually, anytime if that comes up on my feed, I watch it. I love it. Or anyone sends it to me. I love that short. It's funny. I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes, but I do. Question, where Creech hosts his own after party. I think that would be awesome. Should the pizza party host the Oscars? No. I guess you answered that. Any comment on the allegations of Creech's drug abuse? Creech has a lot of serious issues. So, yeah. What's the worst thing the Oscars regretted? Probably just not embracing modern movies enough. Question, was the sequel Star Wars trilogy better than what we would have gotten with Lucas's ideas, especially if it had full creative control? It was better than, or was it better than prequel trilogy? I think it was better than the prequel trilogy. I don't think it would. I think it was better than what Lucas would have done. But I think the first two are really good. The third one, not so much. You could stream your reaction to the Annies. I could. Possibly. The 25th. I will look into that. Thank you, Ryan. Sorry, I'm like reading through this. What will you do for your monster truck sale? Probably, just chill, maybe. Are we done? Man. I think that might be it. Why is Young Frankenstein getting a live TV musical? Because there was a musical of it before. Why is Tide Phillips, director of The Joker, so lame? I don't know. Rescue Rangers is in the wrong aspect ratio. I thought a lot of the 90s stuff wasn't. Ryan Walterson, can you tell me how you to get to Sesame Street? You take 3 blocks west and 4 blocks that way. Are you trying to insult Shrek 2, Jim? Yes, and I just did. Yeah, no, it is interesting to have someone copy Scorsese and be nominated in the same category as him. Not the first time that has happened. Green Book isn't my cup of tea. The Academy nominated Shrek. Oh, they did nominate Shark Tale. Jim just got... I triggered the Shrek 2 stands. I think I got everybody. All right, so... Thank you all for coming out mid-afternoon. I do need to go do other things. I think I covered everything I could. I might... If I find any other Oscar things, I'm going to have them be part of the next movie crap. This next week, I will have videos of the kind of segments of Thundercats Roar, which will be out tomorrow, and then one of Owl House. I'm still working on my Infinity Train Book 2 review. I was kind of working on it today, but I felt like I wasn't concentrating enough, and I want to work on that one. So I hope that'll be out this week, if not the following week, but I want that one to be good. Yeah, the reviews of the movies I need to get out for Best Picture will come out soon. They're a shot. Check out the review, the video I put out last night because I didn't want it to go movie crap, which it, I guess is sort of, which was Mic Test 2019, which is all the sort of, it was just like a fun thing. And yeah, so the next movie crap I believe will be Friday. I'm not sure the time, but let's say 10:30. There'll be a tweet and a community post the day before confirming that, so wait for that confirmation. Thank you all very much for all the support. I hope you guys all have a great Friday and all that stuff. Thank you all for very much coming out. This was crazy. I can't believe I got so many people to come out for this. And I hope you had a good Oscar nominations day. Celebrate by being outraged and maybe seeing a good movie. Anyway, I will see you all next time, and subscribe if you would like to.